There is a proposed rule by the DEA that, if left unchanged, could significantly alter the course of telemedicine and access to medications.
And so what do I think of this potential new law? Coach Greg, in today's video, they're trying to shut Derek More Plates, More Dates down. That's right, he recently released a video. New law will make it impossible to get TRT. And in case you don't know, Merrick Health offers TRT through telemedicine. That's right, he has doctors you can call if you're in the United States, you show your blood work and so on. They can give you prescriptions through telemedicine. You don't have to go to your doctor, you can get it via telemedicine. But they're trying to impose a new law. And in this law, you have to go to your doctor every single month to get your TRT. And if you don't know what TRT is, essentially it's testosterone replacement therapy or hormone replacement therapy, where you get testosterone prescribed from your doctor. And so not everyone has the time or can afford to go and see a doctor every single month. And so think of it, you have to go to see the doctor every single month. You have to pay for that service, go and see the doctor, the time it takes to travel. And so what is this going to do? Well, in the end, a lot of people, they're going to result to taking underground testosterone. And obviously, we don't want people to break the law. We want people to use testosterone only with the advice and consent from their doctor. But with this new law, you're making it harder than last time. And in case you have a hard time relating to this, consider this. Imagine all the women around the world would have to start going to their doctor every single month to get their monthly birth control pills. Imagine having to drive to the doctor, pay the fee, get your birth control, and every single month do this over and over again. Imagine the financial burden, the cost to the healthcare system. And so what's happening in the United States? Well, they're starting to find out what it's like to live in Canada. In Canada, next to impossible to get TRT. You think I can get it through telemedicine? You think I can call up an HRT clinic? Oh, prescribe it to me? Never go to a doctor? Of course not. In Canada, you have to get blood work multiple times, show that your testosterone is tagged that of a 90-year-old over and over again before they'll even consider prescribing you HRT. And over half the doctors, they're not even comfortable prescribing HRT. They don't understand it, they don't know the doses, and so many people are left hanging. They have nothing they can do. And so I was watching Joe Rogan podcast episode 1958 featuring Andrew Huberman, and they brought up NMN and just how amazing this supplement is.
I will say with NMN, a couple of things happened. First of all, energy, my recovery from workouts, much better. I had to take it early day because it was giving me a lot of energy.
And so Joe Rogan brought up another concern. They're trying to make it extremely difficult to get HRT.
I mean, if you go to the doctor, you're basically going to get the same blood work.
Once a month is preposterous. Yeah. That people do not have the time to go to a doctor once a month. That is very annoying.
And so Joe Rogan stating what everyone's thinking. Going to the doctor every single month, it's ridiculous. Andrew Huberman says, yeah, they used to prescribe 200 milligrams. You'd have to get the injection done at the doctor every 2 weeks. But that dose done every 2 weeks, it's too much. You're supposed to inject much more frequently.
Well, originally what they wanted to do with TRT. Remember, people were going in and getting their full 200 milligrams because it's typically testosterone cypionate in this country, 200 milligrams per mil, which is one syringe full if it's a 1 ml syringe. Obviously, people were getting that once every 2 weeks. And that's a crazy dosage scheme. You're supposed to, the best way we know is to divide it up.
Exactly. And here in Canada, that's exactly what my endocrinologist wanted to give. 200 milligrams every 2 weeks. I had to argue and say, no, can I not do it every week? And so I changed his mind. But consider this, my prescription now says to do it every 5 days.
And all this ruling would do, frankly, is send people into gray market routes. That's all it would do.
And so what is this going to do? Well, Andrew Huberman, as well as I, believe that what this is going to do is cause people to go through the gray market. They're going to go through underground labs because how many people got the time to go to the doctor and pay for all this every single month? And so do we not want affordable health care for everyone? Why are we going to push more people to try and get testosterone through illegal sources?
Because I think the number of people that can afford to go to a physician who's really good, who's going to dose it correctly, is so infinitesimally small. And, testosterone is not particularly expensive, but I'm very sensitive to the idea that, a lot of the things that hold great health benefits are just outside the financial reach of a lot of people.
Well,
And so although testosterone is not that expensive, I personally am paying from the pharmacy $65 Canadian for a 5 ml dose, 200 milligrams per mil. And so it's not very expensive, but imagine you have to go to the doctor every single month and pay to see the doctor. How many people can then afford it? Not only that, the time out of your day, people have families, they don't have time to see their doctor every single month. Not that I'm against seeing a doctor every month. It's amazing. The more times, the more often you can see your doctor, talk about your health, the better. But not everyone can afford it. Not everyone has the time. And if men have to go see the doctor every month to get their hormones, then why is it that women don't have to do the same? What is the difference? Do you really think that a 47-year-old man such as myself should have to see the doctor every single month to get testosterone? Meanwhile, a 15-year-old girl can get hormones and birth control and not have to see the doctor every month? I mean, what is going on right now? It's a clown world.
The impact and gravity of this going through as is could be quite detrimental to the industry as a whole, and it is worth touching on and submitting your opinion before the deadline.
And so obviously this ruling would dramatically impact Merrick Health. Much more difficult to get prescriptions, having to go see your doctor every single month. And so clearly this new ruling will dramatically impact anyone who's on HRT right now or those looking to get it in the near future.
This rule is meant to be harm reducing. It is supposed to be, making it more difficult to get access to certain narcotics that could be haphazardly prescribed. However, the unfortunate byproduct of this would be what falls into Schedule 3 that kind of perhaps doesn't make a ton of sense.
And so just a bit of a background, testosterone here in Canada, it's a Scheduled 4 drug. In the United States, it's Scheduled 3. And what that means is that in the United States, they consider testosterone to be far more dangerous than in Canada. In Canada, Schedule 4, far less dangerous. Certain narcotics or certain drugs, the lower the number, the more they fear that it could potentially cause harm. Perhaps it's more addictive, more dangerous. And so the scheduling of the drug is an important indicator of how much harm the drug could potentially cause. And so because in the United States it's Scheduled 3, they see it as being far more dangerous than in Canada. And so they don't want doctors to be able to prescribe these drugs because they're fearful that it's going to be abused and cause serious harm to the individual. In Canada, it's actually legal to have testosterone. You can buy it. You just can't sell it. In the United States, if you have testosterone without a prescription, you are in fact breaking the law. And so depending on the country you're in, you have to check with your doctor to see what kind of drug is this? What is it scheduled? Am I breaking the law to have it? And so on.
These non-narcotic medications like testosterone that people are on for life and heavily reliant on do not belong in this rule change.
And so should testosterone, which is not a narcotic, it's not addictive, it's prescribed by doctors for HRT to promote wellness and health and so on, should that be in the same field or same category as a narcotic? Certain narcotics, painkillers can be highly addictive, and so they're trying to cramp down on people potentially abusing it. But to classify testosterone at the same level, well, is that potentially going too far? And consider this, by adding in this rule, it may just make it even more difficult for people who needed to actually get it. They may result to going underground, purchasing it illegally in order to use testosterone, which is a medication that these people need. And so imagine they did this for all medicine. Insulin, cough medicine, Tylenol, aspirin, and so on, tons of medications that you can buy without a prescription. But some, the more dangerous ones, for example, testosterone, yes, it's one of them. I don't think you should just go to the pharmacy and pick up testosterone. It would be dangerous for children. But should you really have to go to the doctor every single month just to get a prescription? Is it really that dangerous? Well, that's not for me to decide. That's for them. Impossible to get unless you're a confused teenage girl that spends too much time on TikTok. And so imagine a teenage girl could get a prescription for testosterone, but a grown man in his 40s would now have to go to the doctor every single month? Does that make sense? This will push more people to buy their test illegally because it's easier and cheaper, and most will forego oversight and blood work when they do so. And so that's a great comment because you have to consider the pros and cons of any decision you ever make. By adding this rule, they're hoping to increase safety, make it better for everyone, have harm reduction. But is it really going to end up like this? How many people are going to result to getting their testosterone illegally, avoid going to the doctor, getting blood work? And so in the end, is this actually going to be beneficial? Doctors' offices will never be able to accommodate the amount of appointments needed for all class 3 prescriptions every 3 months, let alone every month. And so think of it. Think of how many people are going to have to go to the doctor every single month, even every 3 months. Are they going to be able to do this? Here in Canada, now I don't know what it's like in the United States, but you have to wait weeks, months, and or years to see a doctor. And so if we're forcing people to go to the doctor that much more, how long are most people going to have to wait? Testosterone really doesn't need to be that regulated. That being said, this might be an unpopular opinion, but way too many people are using TRT as a crutch without optimizing other things in their life first that are crushing their testosterone to begin with. If this influences people to discuss with their doctor and pay more attention to other medical and lifestyle factors killing their hormones, their libido, their erectile quality, then it's not necessarily all that bad. And so I appreciate that point, but the problem is this. People are not going to actually go and be able to see their doctor. It's going to be too difficult. They're not going to afford it, and so they're going to use it anyway. Of course, we don't want people to abuse TRT. We don't want people to use TRT who don't actually need it. But in the real world, millions of people, that's right, millions, not a few, not thousands, millions of people are not only on TRT in secret, they're on abusive doses, doing cycles, buying steroids illegally. And so this is only going to make that much worse. And so if we think the planet's just sunshine and rainbows and smiling faces and that making these rules is just going to make everyone healthier and everyone be responsible and safe, it's not. People are just going to do it anyway. They're going to say, screw this. I ain't going to no doctor. I'm not going to listen to Coach Greg. I don't care if he says never break the law. Go and do so only with the advice and consent of your doctor. I can't see my doctor. I can't afford it. I'm just taking anything and anything. Who's selling me something? They're going to use abusive doses, not know what they're taking, do things dangerous, and not monitor their blood. And so what do I think of this potential new law? I don't like it. I don't think it is beneficial. They mean well, they're trying to do the right thing. I simply don't think that the pros are going to outweigh the cons.
What can you do exactly? You can give your opinion.
And so let me know in the comments section, do you agree with this new ruling? Do you think they should let it go the way it is? And if you're from Canada, how hard is it to get HRT right now? United States telemedicine, they have it easy. And so despite the fact that testosterone in the United States is a class 3 drug, and it's considered a class 4 drug in Canada, it's way harder to get testosterone in Canada. Makes no sense. Now, if you have low testosterone, you're trying to get elevated testosterone levels, please consider changing your diet. Don't over diet. Don't go for single digit body fat. And if you still have low testosterone levels, consider supplementing with G-Test. Some of these ingredients have been shown on the Joe Rogan podcast featuring Andrew Huberman to raise testosterone levels by 1 to 200 nanograms each.
Those two herbal supplements together can give a significant boost in free and active testosterone.
So you said Tungat Ali can give you 100 to 200?
Yeah, about that.
They are not like the test boosters of old. Those, they didn't really work. These can make a significant difference to your testosterone. Also, consider Harder Than Last Time for the downstairs. You know what I'm talking about. We also have other supplements that can potentially help to build muscle. Ecti Builder, creatine,